Good morning. Today we'll be discussing the poem A Bird Came Down the Walk by Emily Dickinson. In our earlier lecture, I had given you a brief introduction of the poem and the summary of the paragraphs or the stanzas, and it must have given you a brief insight into the poem. A bird came down the walk, he did not know I saw. He bit an angleworm in halves and ate the fellow raw. So, the first two lines give us the impression that the poet is standing somewhere hidden from the bird and he is sneaking into the life of the bird. He is trying to know the daily routine or the way a bird lives. So the poet sees the bird's action similar to a person walking down a sidewalk or a road. However, that civilized picture is suddenly distorted and broken by the wild action done by the bird, because the bird is trying to brutally kill a angleworm in two halves while eating it. Nevertheless, this is presenting nature as it is, because it is the food for the bird and it is not a violent action that is performed by the bird. A worm is a food of a bird and nothing to create, and we should not in a way fuss about it, because it is a natural process, a natural behavior of the bird when it comes to the terms of human world, and that action committed by the bird is not acceptable if we think about it in human terms. But because it is the life of a bird and it is a natural behavior for the bird, it is not that violent we think about it. So the first stanza is that the poet sees a bird and tries to sneakingly look into the life of the bird, which he feels as if she is walking on a sidewalk like a human being, like a person. But suddenly this picture is distorted as the bird is eating a worm and is quite violent on it. But this violent behavior of the bird is very natural, very instinctive, because the worm is the food for this bird. So maybe this behavior is not acceptable in human terms, but for the bird it is a natural way of life. And then he drank a dew from a convenient grass and then hopped sidewise to the wall to let a beetle pass. So through this stanza, the poet reveals that the nature too has its own way of elegance and etiquette similar to the human world. This is further implied as we closely observe nature and the speaker who is not missing a single moment of the bird. The bird leaves the place to let a beetle pass is an obvious a sort of eye opener to the human world, who most of the times consume resources beyond their necessities. So a simple basic life of a bird is given to us. After eating the worm, the bird has drank from the dew. You must be knowing that when in the morning after night there's dew on the grass. So the bird, after having her morning siesta, is having or drinking the dew from the grass. It is so convenient that all the things the bird needs is around it. And then suddenly a beetle comes up over there, and the bird hops on a side and leaves way for the beetle. Means that this shows the elegance and etiquette of the bird, though we cannot say that it is a civilized person, but still it has its own elegance and etiquette. He glanced with rapid eyes that hurried all abroad. They looked like frightened beads, I thought. He stirred his velvet head. Like one in danger, cautious, I offered him a crumb, and he unrolled his feathers and rode him softer home. However, the bird, we can say, is not in its comfortable zone. It's not, the surroundings are not its comfort zone. It sees the observer and leaves immediately, sensing the danger. Means that the bird has realized that someone is observing him, and she feels, or it feels, the danger looming on it. The poet here zooms in further to face of the bird, which is an indication that the narrator is going closer to the bird. The speaker now, while knowing that the bird is maybe afraid of him, tries to offer a crumb to the bird. This offering of a crumb is sort of ironic, as the bird has already seen that, already had its supper, and it has let the beetle pass. Means that it has not tried to kill the beetle because he was satiated. This intervention of the speaker is seen in few places of the poem, and the bird living its own life and finding its own food. When the poet offers live food, he flies away with dignity and grace. The speaker here is trying to feed the bird, puts an end to the beautiful demonstration of nature. The action is symbolic because nature has its own self-sufficient ways. The interventions can only harm this natural process or order. Therefore, the poet may be suggesting to let the nature be as it is, and we should not try to change the course of nature. The bird leaving without caring about the crumb provides an anticlimax, providing a lesson to the people. Then oars divide the ocean, two silver for a seam, or butterflies off banks of noon leap plashless as they swim. So here we can see the masterful usage of words that provide an enchanting epilogue to the poem. It shows how nature sustains smoothly without damaging the natural beauty. The bird is mingling with its comfortable zone, creates no stir in the environment but enhances its beauty. So this universal experience can be projected anywhere. It is the duty of the human being not to intervene the natural order of the nature, as it can only harm the nature, not helping it. What is seen here is that the poet is trying to portray the beautiful nature and a simple life of a small bird which he is observing through the day. Thank you.